everything should be on the table, reform and expansion.
It's not for unelected justices to override what Congress has passed, and that's what this court is doing. It's very dangerous.
The courts, if they were to proceed without any check on their power, we will start to see an undemocratic and frankly dangerous authoritarian expansion of power.
Democrat lawmakers are now renewing their calls for major Supreme Court reform following last week's decision. Some on the left have called for expanding the number of justices, while others have even suggested impeachment for some current members. Joining us now, Fox News contributor, GWU law professor, and constitutional law attorney Jonathan Turley. Jonathan, thank you for being here with us. Appreciate it. You hear these Democrats after these three landmark decisions. They say they want to institute term limits. They want to pack the court. They want to bring strict ethics guidelines. They're using words like authoritarianism, undemocratic. What say you?
Well, it's pretty ironic that the Supreme Court just handed down a major decision reinforcing the authority of Congress. That's what was involved in the loan forgiveness case. The court said you have to go to Congress to spend almost $500 billion. And these members are outraged that the court would do so, that President Biden would have to come to them and get actual legislative approval. I mean, President Biden made no secret of the fact that he knew he couldn't get that approval. And so he decided to go it alone. That's the definition of authoritarianism, when you go it alone. But what is also amazing about this is that this is a court that not only handed down most of its rulings unanimously or near unanimously, but delivered a number of victories to the left as well as to the Biden administration, including a huge victory on immigration. And yet that's not enough because they disagreed on other cases. These same members want to pack the court to literally just add members until they have a liberal majority.
I want to talk about the point about danger. They keep using the word dangerous, Democrats do, about these decisions. Primarily, I want to talk about the Lori Smith case, right? You called that an amazing moment for free speech. The website designer that was ruled in favor of the First Amendment right for free speech to deny services to whoever she wants to deny services to, in this case, a gay couple. There is concern that this now means that anybody can be denied services based on their race, even those in interracial marriages. Is that danger real? Is that something that people should be concerned about?
Well, the coverage of that case, in my view, is otherworldly. It is so disconnected with what the case actually said. It is a major victory for free speech. It was a case written by Justice Gorsuch, who said that we have to be able to tolerate the views of others. They have to be able to speak those views. They can't be forced to give the views that they don't believe in. Now, that protection applies to LGBT people. So if you're an LGBT web designer or a baker, you cannot be forced to say things that you find are deeply offensive. This is speech neutrality. It means that we're going to allow this protection regardless of the inherent views. These justices weren't applauding the views of this particular business person. What Justice Gorsuch was saying is that free speech runs to the core of who we are. And it is really astonishing for people to say, well, this ends public accommodation laws. That is as far as you can get from the truth. That what we're talking about are just those products that are expressive or creative. So all of the people involved in these cases, including Masterpiece Cake Shop, which was the earlier case, said that they will accommodate anyone, regardless of their status, for products that are pre-made. But if you want them to create something or to engage in an expressive product, they will not do so if they disagree with it from a moral and political standpoint.
And Jonathan, quickly here, sorry to interrupt, Jonathan. I just want to get this one other thing in before on the HEROES Act, because that's important here. The administration now thinking they want to use the route of the Higher Education Act of 1965 to try to justify the $400 billion in student loan debt, the plan that they had of student debt relief. What do you make of that? Is it just as obscene as you thought using the HEROES Act was?
Well, remember, this was Plan B. The HEROES Act was viewed as the stronger case. And what the new path the president is taking is like going from D.C. to New York by way of L.A. He just has to go down the street where Congress is located and ask them for the money, but he doesn't want to do that.
Okay. Well, Jonathan Turley, thank you for that. I really, really appreciate you being here with us today. Happy 4th.
Thank you. I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.